Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel, and today is episode 7 of Waking Up with Richie. So grab a coffee and let's get right into coffee and current events. Okay, so if you didn't know, Kanye West has officially filed his presidential committee document to the Federal Elections Commission. Kanye is going to be running in the BDY party, and that actually stands for the birthday party. So I tried to figure out what that meant and educate myself, but there's literally nothing that explains what that means. And if you don't know, Kanye actually was invited to the White House in 2018, and he showed up in a Make America Great Again hat. So he's definitely changed his course. So if you didn't know, Kanye announced that he doesn't support Trump, and he also announced that he doesn't think that Biden's party is special. So basically, he doesn't support Trump, he doesn't support Biden, and he's making his own lane. Kanye tweeted a picture of his face photoshopped onto Mount Rushmore, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that, but let me know how you guys feel about that. Let's get into the second current event. Alright guys, well, I'm in my bedroom now because it's just so loud out there, and I'm hoping that being in my bedroom that it's going to be quieter and not all that noise out there. So let's get into the second current event. So I just got back into flying and taking flight lessons and working to get my pilot's license. So this next current event really stood out to me. Now, if you guys don't know, there used to be a supersonic airliner named the Concorde, and this plane could essentially get you from London to New York in under 3 hours, which is astronomical, amazing. And it wasn't all perfect with this plane. There was a lot of issues with this plane. It was extremely loud, it was extremely inefficient for its time, and it wasn't really reliable. There was a number of crashes, and overall it was really hard just trying to find pilots that could fly this plane. So ultimately, the Concorde stopped flying in 2003. So a company called Boom has just came out with a plane called Overture, and they're still in the testing phase of this plane, but it's going to be a supersonic airliner, and they're working off of the mistakes that the Concorde had to ensure that this plane can be efficient and effective in transporting people around the world in a supersonic fashion. So this plane, which is called the Overture, will take flight next year. They're still in the testing phases of this plane, so there's a lot of work that has yet to be done. So another cool fact about the Overture supersonic airliner is that it can cut flight durations in half, as well as seating up to 75 people. So it's not going to be a small plane, that's for sure. But one of the things about supersonic aircraft is they have to be extremely aerodynamic and extremely small as possible. So there can't be any double-decker or jumbo supersonic planes. It just causes more issues. So the Overture is actually being designed with the latest noise-reducing technologies. And I'm sorry, there's a helicopter actually flying above right now, but I hope you guys can't hear that either. Guys, I'm so sorry. I want to move out of this city so bad. Like, recently, I've just been so not wanting to live here in downtown Phoenix. I want to move out so bad. I'm going to work really hard, and who knows, I might even buy out my lease, because I'm not going to live here for another year. There's no way. I do not like even coming here. So let's finish up talking about the Overture. The Overture will only fly supersonic speeds over water. So when you're flying supersonic, a phenomena happens which is called a supersonic sonic boom. And this can be pretty damaging, actually. Sonic booms can shatter glass, set off car alarms, and ruin other fragile things. That's one of the main reasons that the plane will only fly supersonic over the ocean. So yeah guys, let me know what you think about that current event. I would love to be on a plane that flies supersonic. Okay guys, so let's get into the third and final current event. So today's video is kind of centralized around aviation because I've just got back into flying and I've really found my love for flying again, and I love it so much. I watch airplane videos during lunch and when I'm relaxing, that's what I watch on TV. So I'm gonna be getting my pilot's license here pretty soon, guys. So the third current event explained how Pakistan Airlines has grounded nearly a third of their pilots. So a government investigation revealed that hundreds of pilots operating under Pakistan Airlines had fake pilot's licenses. Like what? Oh my gosh. So the Pakistan aviation minister announced that 262 of the pilots that were flying in Pakistan did not take their pilot's license test. They paid somebody to take that test. All airlines were soon supplied with the names of fake pilots. And so far, Pakistan International Airlines is the only airline that has taken action so far. So, come on Pakistan, you gotta sort that out. You gotta get that figured out because that's not something to mess around with when there's hundreds of lives on the line. So, let me know what you guys thought about the current events today. We're not gonna be cooking breakfast today because I've already ate and I've had to wait really long to film this because of the landscape guys. I feel like it's always going to be something with the landscape guys, but hopefully not. Let's get into something else though. I want to move back over to my living room for this one. So, meet me in the living room and I'll catch you guys in a second. Hey guys, so we're back in my living room and we're going to try to finish up this episode 7 of Waking Up with Richie. Today has been just a cluster, you know, I'm just feeling really stressed today with where I'm living, but it's okay. So let me show you guys my finalized painting. Remember in my last episode, I was working on that painting? Well, it looks completely different now, so let me show you guys it. All right guys, here we go. Here's the painting. It's finalized, it's complete. Here's a closer look so you can see the details. So I'm gonna name this painting Isle of the Sun. I really like the way it turned out. I'm really happy with it. Honestly, I would be happy to keep this for myself, but I will be selling this and it will be on my Just for Fans store as well as my website. So check it out guys. You can also email me, send me an easy, quick email and let me know if you're interested in this and we can work it out. So I do have a price point in mind, but I'm not going to mention that on here. Only for serious inquiries. So let me know if you guys are interested in the Isle of the Sun. It's really cool. I like this a lot. So guys, don't mind my hair. I wanted to take my hat off because I've had it on for most of the day and it was giving me a headache, frankly. So I hope you guys don't mind this crazy hairstyle, but I want to talk about something pretty serious. So I want to talk to you guys about my decision to leave porn. So if you don't know, I started doing porn in March of 2018, and I don't want to sound cocky, but I was kind of an instant success with porn, and to this date, it's the longest job and most lucrative job I've ever had. But I want to talk about when I first started, and when I got more comfortable with it, and then when I got uncomfortable with it. So let's start out with when I first started. So I originally joined porn because I had recently left college. I was living with a roommate and doing chatterbait shows with him, which is like sex cam. Like it's very, it's like a raunchy porn site pretty much, where couples and even like single people get on there and pretty much So I was doing shows with this boy that I had met off Grindr. I was going to school before I met this boy for marketing, and I've always had a business mind. I've always thought, like, how can this be better? How can I improve? How can I make this spectacular? So I thought, why don't we do porn? Why don't we join a porn studio, and it'll give us more exposure and, present us with a bigger following and allow us to grow even more in this industry, since we were getting so much pressure to chatterbait at the time. So he mentioned how he wasn't into that. He wasn't interested in ever doing porn, and he even said, he's like, I want to have a family, I want to have a wife, and this and that and the other. So I was like, okay, then I'll do it. So I applied to this site. Probably 3 months later, I heard back from them. And it took me a month just to make my mind up on whether I wanted to do it or not. And eventually, I lied to my roommate and I said, hey, I'm flying home for a week, I'll be back. And he believed it, so I came back, and then probably a month after I came back, he found out that I did porn, and it angered him. It made him feel kind of jealous, and that's when he started being really unfriendly to me, and I had to move out of that apartment. So that was phase 1 of doing porn. So then let's move to phase 2. So in phase 2, I had moved into a very nice apartment. My mom decided to move in with me. Well, I allowed her to move in with me because she was new to Arizona, and I wanted to show her what it was like out here, because it's completely different from Maryland. So when my mother moved in with me into my apartment, I was constantly flying to do porn scenes, and it was probably every other month or every month sometimes. So that was pretty normal for me for about 1.5 years. I was flying out every other month to every month just to film porn scenes, and I was making really good money and never missing a bill and being able to buy the things that I wanted and that I felt that I deserved, of course. And that was my life for about 1.5 years. So then let's move to stage 3. So I had been doing porn at this time for almost 2 years, and I had recently turned 21. I was going out to bars, I was meeting people, and when you're meeting new people, they ask the basic questions. What do you do? Where do you live? How old are you? And that was very traumatic for me, because I didn't want to lie to anybody, because I pride myself on being honest, and it really made me feel like, let me be careful what I say, because this person might react this way if I say this, or this way if I say this, and it just became a whole mind explosion. So it was really getting to me, and eventually I just quit dating. I quit looking for people, and I just focused on my career and my image and my brand. And I'm a human at the end of the day. I have to have somebody around me that is attracted to me or wants me and is attracted to my personality. And doing the type of work that I've been doing for so long, it makes it really difficult to know if anybody's being genuine to you, and if someone's just saying something nice to you because they want to get you in bed. At this point, I've made the conscious decision to leave porn. As you may have known, I left Broke Straight Boys and I moved to Helix Studios. And when I first left college, I really wanted to go to Helix Studios. That was where I wanted to be. And then I always loved Broke Straight Boys, so I applied to them, and they called me back first. And then Helix called on a little bit later when I started getting traction and more of a following. So I left Broke Straight Boys and I went to Helix Studios, and one of the weirdest things was they called me in for a shoot the week after Christmas. So, it really wasn't a week, it was about 4 days, but literally the last moments of 2019 they called me out there, and it was like now or never. because I tried to ask them, like, can I do January sometime? They're like, this will be better, so I did that, and I was in Maryland at the time. I have a vlog actually of when I was in Maryland visiting my family, and I had to leave the day after Christmas, get rushed to the airport, and it was just a completely different experience working with Helix Studios than it was working with Broke Straight Boys. I don't want to downgrade anybody, but now let me say, I didn't work at 2 different porn studios. Technically, I worked at 4 different porn studios. I worked with college dudes, I worked with Broke Straight Boys, I worked with Helix Studios, and I worked with one other one which I cannot remember the name of, but it's under Broke Straight Boys. And so let me just say I'm weathered. Like, I'm well-rounded, I've been around, I know what the industry is like, and at this point in my life, I'm not willing to continue my porn studio career. Now, I do love OnlyFans, and I do love Chatterbait. I'm actually doing a Chatterbait show tonight. It's Friday night, and I have no plans, so why not? Chatterbait is always going to be the OG for me. I was, of course, on Chatterbait before I was doing porn, so I hold Chatterbait to a higher standard, and I also make more money on Chatterbait than I ever have doing porn. So yeah, guys, I've left working with porn studios, and I'm really confident with what I do now, and at this point I'm really just trying to advance myself and save money and get to the next step in life. So let me know what you think about that story. Let's move on to the next topic. So around July 4th, I got into a verbal altercation with a friend of mine. Another friend of mine, Zach, was actually living with this friend who I got into the altercation with. Now, every time I would show up to the house that Zach was living at, this particular friend would always talk crap on Zach when Zach wasn't in the room, as if I'm not his best friend and I'm not going to stand up for him and tell him everything that I was told by him. Because I'm not friends with this dude that's telling me this drama. And he would say, oh, he's in his room, oh, he doesn't want to hang around us, and a bunch of even more negative things. So I'm not even going to mention those, but just a very shady person. So this person, we'll name him T. So T invited me over around July 4th for a RuPaul Drag Race watch party. Now let me just preface this. I've never really been into RuPaul's Drag Race. In my personal opinion, out of the episodes that I've watched, I think it's extremely corny. The jokes, I've never laughed at any of the queens' jokes. Even the funniest queens, never get a giggle out of me. I'm more of like a Joan Rivers type of guy, or like a Kathy Griffin or Chelsea Handler type of guy. Like, I laugh at sarcastic, blatant jokes. I don't laugh at, you have to think and you have to go to all these extents just to find 1 ounce of humor. So the jokes aren't funny. So I wasn't laughing, and I was basically making my own jokes throughout the episode. I believe it was like All Stars. So I was making these jokes with Zach. Me and him were sitting together. There was about 6 people in all, and I was making jokes. People were laughing at them, and eventually the TV gets paused, and T gets up and he says, you guys are talking way too much. You and Zach are talking way too much. It's getting to the point where it's annoying. So then I said, and by the way, T and all his friends were at the pool drinking all day long. So they had a little bit of that liquid courage in them, if you know what I mean. So after he said that to me, I said, oh, I guess T wants us to just sit here crisscross applesauce with our lips sealed. Now, as soon as I said that, he stormed out of the living room, outside onto the patio, uttering harsh words under his breath that I could hear. And I gave him probably about 5 minutes, and I was talking to Zach, like, what just happened, So I walked out there and I tried to resolve the conflict. like a respectable and mature person would do. I truly didn't feel like I did anything wrong, and I feel like RuPaul's Drag Race is not the type of show where you sit there in silence and watch and wait until the next scene. That's the type of show where you laugh and you have commentary and you joke, and it's not the type of show, it's not like watching the newest blockbuster that just came out. It's really not. And if you guys disagree, let me know, please. So I went out there and I was like, T, what's going on? He's like, you're a racist, you're a hillbilly, you'll never do anything other than being a porn star, that's all you'll ever amount to, and your opinion doesn't even matter to me, I don't know why you're out here, you need to leave. And I'm like, first off, I'm not even here for you, I'm here for your boyfriend. I've known your boyfriend 3 years longer than you have. I know all these people much longer than you have. You've only ever caused problems. I'm standing up for myself at this point because I'm like, okay, he's gonna put me on blast, I'll put him on blast. I've seen the man smash his hand through a glass window. Anyways, I'm not gonna include this into the video. So after he calls me a racist and every other name that he can think of, I asked him, why am I a racist all of a sudden? Because we were super close before, and we could talk about touchy subjects together and not go at each other's throats. So I asked him, why am I a racist all of a sudden? And he said, bitch, I'm from the Bay, you don't want to mess with me. And I'm like, dude, come here, like, I'm a country boy too. I mean, I grew up roughhousing too, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna stand my ground. I've been stepping on this pool patio deck longer than you have, so come up, like run up. And he runs up to me and he's in my face, he's spitting, he calls me a racist again for no reason, no purpose to back up his allegation of me. And at that point, I'm like, you know what, I'm leaving. And a short backstory of this friendship, every time I go over to that house, they would bring up Trump and they'd try to drag Trump's name into the ground and show me articles and say this and say that. And that same day, my friend even said to me, you're lucky I still allow you to come over here with you being a Republican. Now, I never said that I was a Republican, but they're implicating that onto me and forcing me to believe that. So it was always very political going over there, and at this point I'm actually relieved that that happened, because I wholeheartedly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I don't need to be around extremists like that and unstable people, because T is unstable and unpredictable and dangerous. Alright guys, well that was episode 7 of Waking Up With Richie. I really just had to vent to you guys today. Like, a lot has been going on, lots of changes, lots of new changes and differences in my world have been happening. So please give me some advice or some criticism or something, because I love reading your comments. And most importantly, subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Click the notification bell if you want to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.